Welcome friends. In the previous video we have started the chapter of membrane theory of shells. We have made 2 or 3 videos on this chapter. Now in this video we will try to derive equation of equilibrium of the cylindrical shell using membrane theory. So we'll start with the introduction of this derivation. Here I have written some introductory information regarding the derivation. For the given geometry of shell under the given loading and the support condition, the bending moment is either 0 or very small, so that it can be neglected. In such case, the shell is resisting the external force through the direct internal forces known as membrane forces. This theory is called as membrane theory, and it is valid only if the following 2 conditions are satisfied. So in this derivation we are considering the bending moment as negligible, so that's why we'll consider that load transfer is only due to the membrane forces. Okay, so this theory can be applied if the following 2 conditions are satisfied. So first condition is that load varies uniformly over the surface of the shell, and the second condition is that the support provides such a reaction that the member forces are the resultant forces. Okay, so these are the 2 mandatory conditions for this derivation. Now we'll consider a part of shell of size dx into r d theta. Okay, so we'll consider a part of shell which is having size of dx by r d theta. Okay, the forces nx, n theta, nx theta are the internal forces developed per unit length in the plane of shell. These forces are called membrane forces. Okay, I have shown one diagram here. This is diagram of shell. Now here we can see that this is the portion of shell which we have considered for this derivation. In this length is dx, and this projection of the shell part of shell, that is r d theta. Here I have mentioned it. So this is r d theta and this is dx. So we have considered this portion only. Now I have drawn the zoomed view here. So this portion which is under consideration is drawn here. Okay, so this length is r d theta, this length is dx. Now I will consider that on this face of the element which we have considered, there is a one normal force acting, that is n theta, and one force is along the plane, that is nx theta. Now we'll consider some change in force at this phase, because we have changed the position of the we are taking force on the other face. That's why we'll assume that there from this point to this point there is some change in force. So that's why here we have taken n theta, and here we have taken n theta plus dou n theta by dou theta into d theta. So this is the small change in force due to the change in position. Here at this phase we have considered this force, that is n theta, and for this phase we have considered n theta plus dou n theta upon dou theta into d theta. So this is additional force which is taken due to the change in position, because here there will be different force, and here it will be somewhat lesser or greater than this value. So that's why we have assumed some greater value here. Similarly, we have assumed n theta x here, and here we have assumed n theta x plus dou n theta x upon dou theta into d theta. Same on this phase, we have assumed two forces, one along the plane, one normal to the plane, and we have assumed nx here, nx theta here, and we have taken the additional component due to the change in position. Here we have taken nx, here we have taken nx plus dou nx by dou x into dx. So this is how we have considered the whole element. Okay, now we'll move towards the next step. Now we'll take equilibrium of along the x direction, that is summation of forces in x direction equal to 0. So this is the condition which we want to derive, which is required for the derivation. So that's why we have taken summation of forces in x direction equal to 0. Now I have taken all the forces in the x direction. Now this nx is force in x direction. Here we can see that nx is the force which is acting on this length. So that's why we have taken multiplication of these two, plus this is the force acting on this plane or this length, minus this is the force on theta plane in x direction. So that's why n theta x, and it is acting on dx length. So that's why, so I will show you the first force and the length. This is nx acting on r d theta. Here we can see that nx, this is nx force, and it is acting on this length. So this length is r d theta. So that's why we have taken this force into this length. This length is r d theta. Okay. Similarly, we have taken all the forces and the plane and multiplication of the length on which they are acting. Here also we have taken the plane force here and the length on which they are acting, and plus this last one is the external force acting in x direction. Here we have represented all the, this is force x, x force is acting on along the x direction, y force is acting along the y direction, and z force acting along z direction. So this x into r d theta, this x is acting over this length because it is in this direction. So that's why we'll take x into r d theta. Okay, so here x dx into r d theta here we have taken. Okay, sorry, here x, y, z are these are external forces. I have given one sentence here. X, y, z are the component of external forces distributed uniformly per unit area. So that's why we have taken x into dx into r d theta, which is area of element. X into dx into r d theta. So this because this is force per unit area and we want only force, so that's why we have multiplied by area. So this is how we have calculated the equation, and it is equal to 0. So if you simplify the equation, you can see that this nx r d theta, here the direction of nx should be negative. Okay, so this nx r d theta and this nx into r d theta will get cancelled because it is having negative sign, it is having plus positive sign. So that's why it will be cancelled out. Similarly, this n theta x dx and this n theta x into dx, this will be cancelled out. Now the remaining terms, in the remaining terms you can see that d theta and dx is common, so we can take it out and we can cancel out the d theta and dx term. So what we get after simplifying all these terms is dou nx upon dou x plus dou n theta x upon r dou theta plus x. Here we have taken r common, so that's why r in this term will be cancelled, r in this term will be cancelled, and here we don't have any r, so that's why we have taken in the division. So that's why this will be the simplified equation of forces in x direction. Now similarly we can calculate summation of forces in y direction. So we have taken the forces in y direction. Now y direction is nothing but direction of theta. So we have taken n theta x into dx. Dx is the length on which theta is acting. Similarly, all the forces are taken. Y is force per unit area, so that's why y into r dx d theta. So this is area. So again, if you simplify this equation, you will get the this equation. So I am not going to explain this because I have already explained the above equation. So you will get this equation. And now we'll calculate the summation of forces in z direction, which will be equal to 0. So to understand this, I have drawn the element here. Here we can see that this is the required z direction will be in the vertical, means we have assumed in the vertical direction, means z direction will be in the vertical direction. So that's why I have taken out the component in z direction. So for this force the z direction will be this, so that's why n theta dx into sine d theta by 2, as this angle is theta, so this side will be sine d theta by 2, n theta into dx. So similarly here also we have taken one component which is in z direction. So we have two components of forces which is acting in z direction, both are in downward direction. So that's why n theta dx sine d theta by 2 plus n theta dx sine d theta by 2 plus z is the force per unit area acting in z direction. So that's why we have taken z into area. Now if you simplify this equation again, you will get here we have to make some adjustment in this equation. Sine d theta by 2 is very small, means d theta by 2 is very small. So because of this we can understand that sine d theta by should be nearly equal to d theta by 2. So we have directly replaced sine d theta by 2 by d theta by 2. So I have written that equation here. So this dx d theta again is common and will get cancelled. This 2 is also there in numerator and denominator, so it will be get cancelled. So all other remaining terms are written here. So n theta plus zr will be equal to 0. So this is our third equation. So this equation number 3, this equation number 2 and the equation number 1, these three equations are called as equations of equilibrium. Now here we can find out the value of n theta from equation 3, so we can directly say that n theta nx and n theta x can be calculated from equation 1, 2 and 3. So these are the equations of equilibrium for the cylindrical shell. So this is the derivation. Now if you want to find out the values of n theta for cylindrical shell, you can apply boundary conditions. And you can find out the values of n theta nx, n theta x. Okay, so this is how we'll derive the equation for cylindrical shell, means equilibrium equation for cylindrical shell. So thank you.